So for the next keynote on the topic Simplifying Security Through Consolidation by Palo Alto Networks, join me in welcoming Mr. Sandeep Variam, Cybersecurity Advisor. Please put your hands together and invite him on stage. We have him leading us through the next segment.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for being here. I think we have a full house. Thank you so much for taking time to come for this session today. Special thank to the DSCI team. I think last year we did virtual, and this year we are back online. We are back, or rather, connecting one-on-one with every one of you. So thank you so much. DSCI events have always been very special for me. So today, I'm going to talk about simplifying security through consolidation. I'm Sandeep Variam, Cybersecurity Advisor for India in SAC at Palo Alto Networks. Being with the company for the last 7 years now. And overall, from a cybersecurity point of view, it's been almost 17 to 18 years. So be with me for the next 10 to 15 minutes of time. I would like to take you through this journey. Happy to take questions, as Rahul did, maybe towards the end of the session, or if you want to connect offline, we can connect offline as well. So if you look at currently today, right? So we understand the world out there is pretty tough. The market is pretty tough. And if you look at the current trend, I'm sure that every companies or every businesses or every organization for that matter, irrespective of the verticals what we have adopted some level of strategy so that they can adapt well to the current market conditions, which means everybody has worked out a different pattern. Everybody has worked out what works best for them inside from an organization point of view to adapt to the current market conditions. And this is important to understand because I want to set some context why consolidation is helping here. So if you try to zoom into this, right, the statement what I made, and if you try to zoom into this, so what are the priorities what CXOs would be looking at, or business leaders would be looking at? What are the top priorities what they have? And these three things comes to my mind. I'm sure there are many other priorities, but however, these are the three main things what comes to my mind. The first part being in terms of accelerating growth. And now we can talk at length in terms of from a growth point of view. But if you look at specifically, if I may be a banking environment or I may be a new startup, I may be a fintech environment, what is the kind of a strategy currently what I have for the market, which means the GTM strategy for the market? Very, very critical from an accelerating growth point of view. And how fast can I deliver the services or the products for my customers or for my consumers? And fintech world or the born in the cloud customers or any other startups for that matter, it's all about speed to the market, how soon you launch and how easy is from a customer experience point of view. That matters a lot. And other most important part, what you also see is from a digital trust. I think that's very important, especially in today's life. When you talk about digital trust, it's all about, I may be in a B2B business or I may be in a B2C business. But end of the day, it's organization which is selling to another organization or talking to another organization, or could be an individual which is connecting with another individual. So the trust factors plays a very critical role, especially from a growth point of view. The second factor, what you see is in terms of productivity. Again, productivity has a larger discussions, but what I've done is we have put this into three different buckets. We can call it as from a process point of view, or from a people point of view, or from a technology point of view. If you look at specifically technology, I think all of you are aware. I think we have embraced the modernization concept since been many years, right? It's been almost 10 years where the digital transformation has happened. Yes, it has picked up pace in the last 3 to 4 years of time, but that has actually helped in terms of improving the productivity within an enterprise. If you look at from a people point of view, it's all about the culture what you have internally, right? What kind of benefits do I get? What as an employee or as a team member, what is the benefits what I get? What is the kind of a culture what I have internally? Is there something the organization is helping me to grow internally within the system? So that's something more from a productivity angle point of view. And the third part, which is most critical, is from a risk reduction. I think very, very critical at this particular period of time. Because if you look at every companies which I speak to today, has some kind of an automation project. This could be a process level automation. I'm sure there is a lot of process automation what happens in banking sectors or maybe fintech sectors. But on top of that, there are many other automation projects what helps to run them internally. This could be from a SOC point of view, from a network perspective. There are many other automation things what is currently running. Other important thing is, I've highlighted is about cyber resiliency. Because end of the day, when you're trying to reduce the risk within an organization, that's where you become much more cyber resilient. And I think this has been a trend of discussions, especially in the, I'm sure one of the leading CXOs as part of the World Economic Forums, if you see that, cyber resiliency is always talked about very, very widely there. So that's from a priority point of view. Now, what is affecting the growth, or what is affecting from a challenge point of view, what are the things which is affecting there? So the first part, what you see here is, end of the day, today, if you look at, there is a lot of cost optimization which is happening, which means the budget is by default shrunk. So you need to invest smartly, you need to invest on the right set of tech tools and technologies what is needed for you. So the budget is very, very shrinked right now. On the other side, if you look at from a technology landscape point of view, it's very large. If you take a very large enterprise, the amount of technology tools and solutions what we have internally is very, very large. Right? That's a known fact what we currently have. On the other side, if you look at from a skill set point of view, now I may be a part of a cloud team, or I may be part of a CTO team. Now I may be part of a new AI project what is coming in, or what we are testing internally. Or I may be part of an app modernization project. I may be a part of a SOC automation project, which means the same kind of a skill set, the same kind of a team are used across multiple areas. So by default, it can also induce operational fatigue, or from a user point of view, it's more a fatigue point of view. And the third part, what you see is from a modern threats. How do we start preventing modern day threats? And this is what the first problem statement what I made. There are many technology tools what we have in place, but unfortunately, we are in a situation where all of these technologies unfortunately doesn't converse with each other. There is no tight integration as we speak today. There is no level of a tight integration or conversation which these technologies happens between each other. So this is the classic challenges. So how is consolidation helping in this case? So that's where I want to set a context so that we move to the topic what we have. How is consolidation helping in this case? I think if you look at from a market analysis and if you look at third-party analyst reports, I think in the late 2022 or early 2023, a vendor consolidation or an OEM consolidation has been one of the top 5 projects what every CXOs are currently working on. And this is a fact, I'm sure you have been, within your organization, you may be thinking about that. But as we speak with more and more customers, more and more leaderships, this has been a top priority for all of them. And I just want to set a stage so that it becomes easy for all of you to understand what do I mean by this. So if you take an example here, so the first part talks about integrations. How does technology talk to each other? So I've taken an example of Apple. So you may be a Google fan, so you can take Google in that matter. But end of the day, if you look at the kind of platforms what they have, could be a handheld device what you have, or could be a watch what you have. End of the day, there is a good amount of data synergy what happens between these platforms. Do you agree there? Right? So it's all good amount of data sync which happens between these technology stacks what they have. Yes, it's a part of one single platform, but at the end of the day, it's more about the data. It's the data what actually matters a lot. So that's what I meant technology should converse. On the other side, I think Vinayak sir mentioned about the UPI part. I think classic example of a consolidation there. Today, how many of us would need a wallet with us? I don't think we need it, right? So even though if you forget a wallet at home, you can just walk outside, do some shopping, come back home easily. So UPI, end of the day, it's not a platform, it's more a protocol, right? The moment it's there as a part of your smartphones, you're done, right? That's the easiest way for you to do some transactions today, and that's a classic example of a consolidation in real world scenarios. That's why I said it is ubiquitous, it is being seen in real world, it is happening in real world, and why should cybersecurity shy away from this? So that's the biggest question here. And if you look at the market trend, right, so you're seeing the JPAC trend there, and I think it's not much of difference what you're seeing in the India market as well. If you take a classic enterprise or a mid-enterprise or a very large enterprise, at any point of time, you will see close to around 30 to 40 different security stacks. And that's a fact, right? If you see it within yourself, you'll have close to around 30 to 40 or more technology platforms what you're running internally. And this could be supplied, or this could be in discussions with maybe around 10 to 15 vendors what you have internally. And that's a classic case what you have seen within the India market as well. Even though that's a JPAC number, but classic case of India market as well. And the moment you're taking up consolidation as a project, assuming that you're moving ahead and working out or started working out consolidation as a project, what is the advantage what you get when you take up that approach? These are the 4 things what you get when you move towards a consolidation project. So 2 things comes down. What are those things? First thing is on the procurement cost and implementation cost, which means end of the day, you are buying less number of tools, you are investing on the less number of tools, so you're smartly investing on the right kind of platforms what you need for the organization. And by default, the implementation cost comes down because you have less tools to be implemented right now. So these 2 things by default comes down for you. And other 2 parameters, which is very, very critical, as I said, operational efficiency. Again, technology stacks, what you're bringing inside your enterprise should converse, so should be able to talk to each other for sure. And that actually improves the efficiency in a great, great level. And the last part, if you look at it, is more from a security posture. That's why I said, lesser the tools, the lesser the risk factors. I think somebody spoke about threat. I think Rahul spoke about the threat vectors today. And it's massive. It's very, very massive. I think we were speaking in the morning workshop as well. It's a massive threat landscape currently what we have, and it's a never-ending landscape as well. So it's better that we consolidate, if we focus on consolidation so that we can reduce the risk level within a very large enterprises or within your environments. So that's a statement what I have to make. I think when that becomes a huge success, especially when you're taking ahead or going ahead with the consolidation kind of a project. I think this technology should converse, it should be able to integrate, and you should have a better outcome. End of the day, the current state and the future state has to be different, has to be improved. And that's a bigger statement what we have. And today at Palo Alto Networks, I'm proudly saying, as I said, being 7 years here, I've been working closely with very, very large enterprises, and we have been able to help customers in this journey. So if you look at from a network security perspective, I think it calls for a very large discussions. I think this 15 minutes is not enough for that. If you look at from a cloud security, I think Rahul mentioned about the supply chains, very, very relevant. I think it's a fantastic session, a very, very relevant part of things. So cloud security is there for sure. The adoption of cloud is very, very large. It's going to be, especially with the 5Gs coming in, you can see huge number of cloud adoptions going ahead. So that's part of something which we have been helping customers to a great extent. And from a SOC point of view, as I said earlier, automation on the SOC side is for real. There's a lot of AI-driven analytics, what is coming into the SOC currently today. We were talking at length today in the morning workshops as well. So today, we have been helping customers at consolidation projects. We have been helping customers to give the right kind of an outcome, what they wanted. And it's been successful. Touchwood, it's been very, very successful so far. And being a cybersecurity leader, I don't want to talk products, but this is not something which I'm focusing on. But I want to share this. There are n number of areas where we are helping customers today. Again, you may be having a network security or a branch transformation as a project to start with. That could be your consolidation project. Or you want to start with SOC. I have a problem in the SOC currently. I need to modernize my SOC. I need to improve my SOC posture. I need to have a better ROA for the SOC. So there are many areas what we are currently helping customers, and that's a huge list of platforms what we have. And again, these are not products. End of the day, as I said again, end of the day, these technologies are conversing to each other. And that's the biggest part of these three platforms what I mentioned about. So this is my last slide. What are the main takeaways which I want to share with all of you? So we spoke about, again, when you're taking up a project like this, one of the most important factor what actually drastically comes down is the risk factors. Again, as I said, you're living in a very less risky environments. It becomes much more easier for you to become much more cyber resilient. And that's the fastest way to reach a cyber resiliency stage. And I'm sure every CXOs, what I speak to, zero trust is something which everybody talks about. And are we there for real? Is it there for real? Is that something which can happen within a large enterprise? The answer is yes. But you would need these building blocks in place, definitely for sure, so that we can work towards a zero trust enterprise in a much more efficient manner. That's what I have to share. Thank you so much once again for connecting with all of you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sandeep. There you go. That was fairly detailed on simplifying security consolidation, why it should be a top priority for business leaders, distribution, integration, synergies, risk reduction, resilience, and the zero trust readiness.